that's clear, and everyone spoken with family and committed to open every door, show them what we offer, can make spirits soar. You honor, you united at the core. United here we stand, together we win, never give up. Once we begin, reach out your hand, those that inside, make sure they know the diamonds inside. We got united, yeah, we got united. Oh, we got united. People marching.
All right, good morning everyone. Welcome to Your Health and Yusana. I am Mariel Pirile, one of your corporate pharmacists in Yusana, Philippines, and we're here to talk about your liver health. All right. So, but before we start our training this morning, so let me know what is the first thing that comes into your mind when you hear about the word liver and when you hear about the word health. First thing, unang bagay na pumapasok sa isipan nyo when you hear about the term liver and when you hear about the term health. All right, so share with us. So we have actually 176 participants here in Zoom, and we are also live via Facebook through our Facebook page, Yusana Philippines. So if you have more people who would want to watch and join us this morning for this Your Health and Yusana training series about your liver health, so invite them to join here via Zoom or via Facebook Live. So for those who are joining us here on Zoom, so you can type it in our chat box. The first thing that comes into your mind when you hear about the term liver and when you hear about the term health. So type it in our chat box. And for those who are joining us via Zoom, via Facebook Live, so you can type it on our comment box. So let me read your comments and let me read, of course, your chats here in our chat box when you hear about the term when you hear about the term liver and when you hear about the term yeah. So I love the energy coming from our participants here in our Zoom call, and also I love your energy in our Facebook Live. So let's see. All right, so our viewers from our Facebook Live, they're actually tagging other people for them to be able to watch Your Health and Jusana training series about our liver. So let's see, ano ba yung mga sagot ninyo, alright? So when you hear about the liver, you think of the terms or the words filter of my body from Rolf and RL. So detoxify from Ivy and June. So from Judy Garcia, it's all about great skin. Okay, so from Hannah Kwong, it's all about detox. From Monique, detoxification. From Kenneth, also detox. From Liz, we also have detox. Oh, from Joffet, we have Hepasil. When he hears about the term liver and health, he thinks about Hepasil. So we also have healthy body. So we have here from Lisa, it's all about fatty liver. Yes, you can also associate that with liver, but it's not associated with healthy liver. All right. So we have here from also it's detox, detoxification. So we have your detox effect. Liver health means longer life from Ivy and June. So when you also hear about the liver, you can also associate it with alcohol, with fatty liver, and those are the terms with the liver that we do not want ourselves to be associated with. But sometimes we cannot. But sometimes it's really happening around, especially if you do not have a healthy lifestyle, especially if you are not really taking good care of your liver. So we have here healthy skin, we have here detoxification, involved in many metabolic processes from Carlos. So that's right, no? Our liver is involved in our metabolism, and we'll talk more about that later. All right, so from Zelia Camisora, so the liver's main job is to filter the blood coming from the digestive tract before passing it to the rest of the body. So it's a bit scientific, but it's correct. So how about the others? All right, so avoid toxins. When they hear about the liver and it's also related to taking medicines. Our liver is related to that because, as you all know, the liver is our main organ for metabolism. And we'll talk more about that later. So, for the meantime, we have actually 80 viewers from our Facebook Live and we have 242 participants via Zoom. So invite more people as we are. This is a very good topic to start your day. It's all about your liver and your health. And to discuss more about it, no, we have invited one of our scientists all the way from Salt Lake City, our main office here in Yasana. So let's all welcome, of course, before we do that, let me introduce our speaker this morning. So Austin is a graduated from the University of Utah with a bachelor's degree in biology. So in 2011, he joined Yasana's research and development team. In 2015, he worked with the others in the research and development department to create AskTheScientist.com. So this is one of my favorite websites in Yasana. So actually, you can find a lot of information about health, about the products in AskTheScientist.com. So Austin currently manages the Ask the Scientist website and writes content for the website. When he's not on the clock, Austin enjoys mountain biking, skiing, hiking, and weightlifting. So let's all welcome the man behind AskTheScientist.com, Austin Vinegar. Hi, Austin.
Hi, happy to be here today.
Hi,
Yes.
Austin. So we're very happy to have you here in our training, Your Health and Yasana. So take it away.
I'll give you a little more background on myself for everybody. Like was stated, I joined USANA in about 2011, and what I originally did there was we designed a lot of our products for the U.S. market, and then because that was kind of our primary first market, and what we do is we take those and we adapt them to all of our other different locations that we sell them in. So that's what I was doing, was making sure they meet all the local needs, because every population is a little bit different. Some of the government regulations are a little bit different. And I was, at first few years there, adapting all of our formulas to meet each of the individual needs of all the different countries that we sell our products in. About 4 or 5 years ago, with a few of the other people from the research and development department, we developed this Ask the Scientist website. So AskTheScientist.com has lots of information on general health, wellness, exercise, fitness, mental health, and also it has some detailed information about USANA products, research studies on the USANA products. So if you ever have any questions, or you're wondering why we made a product, why we included certain ingredients in a specific product, you can actually go to AskTheScientist.com. You'll find all of that information. You can email us questions through that website, and we'll even answer them. There's a lot of great information on that website and a lot of great tools if you're ever needing any more. As a part of my role with educating people through Ask the Scientist, I do these webinars, and that's what brings me here today. And today we're going to talk specifically about liver support and one of our products called Hepasil that's specifically involved in liver support and also is involved in just overall health and wellness. So I have the chat box open. If you have any questions related to some of the specific content that I'm talking about at the time, feel free to ask questions. I'll address it as we're there. And if it's other questions that are a little bit less related to the specific content at hand, we'll look at those after the fact. So just a pure definition of the liver. The liver is the largest internal organ of the body. The largest external organ is actually the skin. But then when you're looking at largest internal organ and second largest organ overall, it's the liver. It weighs in at a little over 3 pounds or 1.3 kilograms. And the liver is in the upper abdomen.
This
It's right
meeting is
underneath your
being
ribs, above
recorded.
your stomach, and below your lungs. And it performs a multitude of functions vital to keeping you alive and healthy. So kind of an introduction to the liver. Anything that you eat passes through the digestive tract, through your mouth, your esophagus. And almost anything you consume, whether it's food, drinks, medication, supplements, they all end up basically going through your liver via your bloodstream at some point. Once there, all the nutrients are broken down further into different forms that your body can use. Substances that your body needs for energy and other functions are produced and stored, and the liver makes all of that possible. When you eat, not only do you have all these energy components or essential nutrients that you need, but also there's potential toxins that you're getting, and even healthy foods. Apples and other fruits and vegetables have small amounts of heavy metals or other potential toxins, and the liver helps filter those out of the blood so they can be removed from your system. And that's one of the key roles and purposes of the liver. What is finally done after all the liver processes all these is the waste is sent to your bowels and kidney and eliminated from your body. So it wouldn't be too much of an overstatement to say the liver borders on having amazing and almost magical powers. It's the only organ that can actually regenerate itself in your body. And as long as 25% of the tissue remains, your body can essentially regrow a brand new liver. As I said, you can see this picture of a whole bunch of food here. Really, everything that you eat goes to your stomach, and then your small intestines is where it's absorbed, and the liver is really what processes all of that. Whether it's the fats that it helps break down, or the proteins it helps it digest, or even the carbohydrates. The livers are important for the storage of those carbohydrates that you're not using immediately, so you can use them later on. In addition to the foods that we're eating, all the individual nutrients from those foods and the drugs that we might have from different medications or potential toxins all go through the liver as well. When looking at the fat specifically, so the liver produces bile. You probably heard of bile or the gallbladder that helps store the bile. Well, the liver is what produces that, and it breaks down the large fats and stores them or creates them smaller fats from those, so you can help use those in different ways, whether it's for energy or for, we have membranes on all of our cells. There's lots of different roles that those fats store that the liver helps break down. Here you'll see a number of different metabolic pathways. So we've got the fat there in the pink, but then we have proteins in the yellow, carbohydrates in the green, and all these pathways exist only because of the liver. So there's a lot of different mechanisms that are performed because the liver exists, and it helps us digest all the different foods that we eat. Some of the specifics from that, you have proteins are broken down into individual amino acids. We have larger fats are broken down into individual lipids. Proteins are broken down, I already mentioned that, into individual amino acids. And then a number of different neurotransmitters. So these are things that help influence the cell signaling pathways in our body and tell our body how to respond. And these signals are always being sent from our brain or our liver to the individual cells all throughout our body. And then in addition to breaking down fats and lipids and carbohydrates, the liver is also essential for storage. So any extra glucose, you've probably heard about the pancreas and how the pancreas sends molecules that help store or break down the sugars within your body. Well, the liver is also a key aspect of that and helps break down or helps store glucose and turn it into glycogen for long-term storage. In addition to that, the liver stores some of the fat-soluble vitamins, so vitamins A, D, E, as well as the water-soluble vitamin B12, and then iron and copper. And just good evidence that the liver is very rich in vitamin A, for example. If you ever eat liver from an animal if you ever have cow liver or other sorts of animal liver, they're very, very rich in vitamin A, and humans are no different. That's where we store a lot of our vitamin A, and a lot of other different vitamins and minerals are stored in our liver. In addition to these metabolic processes, the liver plays a big function, and this is what will be the focus through a lot of the rest of my presentation here, in cleaning the blood. So what it does, it has a couple of different processes. It has phase 1 and phase 2 enzymes within the liver. And what it does is it breaks down certain toxins that enter our body. And those toxins can enter our body through diet, is primarily the biggest one, things that we're eating. But also we're exposed to potential toxic exposure through our skin or through what we're breathing in our body. The liver helps break those down in phase 1 and then neutralize those broken down components in phase 2. And so that's what that converting to less harmful chemicals, that's the phase 2. And ultimately they're packaged up for elimination through the urine is the primary way that we eliminate these different components. So each of these different things, whether it's the fats that we're eating, the drugs and medication, alcohol, pollution, all of these create oxidative stress that could potentially damage our liver, and not only our liver, but all of our body. But the liver is the most susceptible because it's basically our first line of defense against these. However, there's a lot of different research studies, both some of the ones we've done here at USANA, as well as external studies done by universities, governments, research studies that show nutrition and our lifestyle practices can help maintain healthy liver function. This includes limiting exposure to alcohol, unnecessary chemicals and fatty foods, but also increasing intake of fruits and vegetables, having enough adequate exercise to keep our body healthy, as well as just drinking enough water. And all of these will help support the circulation of nutrients throughout the liver and the removal of waste in the liver and the entire body. And this is where Hepasil starts to come in. We had this question. We started looking at Hepasil, I would say probably about 2008. This is before I joined the company. I joined the company in 2011, and we were just publishing some of the studies we had on Hepasil about that time in 2011. But I'm very familiar with the researchers who worked on it and some of their work, and have discussed this with them. And they were looking at some of the nutrients that specifically have been shown to help support liver health, is what they were looking at when they designed this product. There's lots of different research out there on a variety of different nutrients that we've included in this product at a variety of different doses, but most of them were one at a time. They were looking at this nutrient or that nutrient, and they hadn't combined them into one potent formula. And that's what we were trying to do with Hepasil. And so that is what brings us to Hepasil DTX, USANA's product for liver health. And it contains a whole variety of ingredients. And I'm going to go through each of these ingredients one by one. When you look at them, you'll find that it's a very comprehensive support formula for liver health. It aids in some of the things I talked about, both in metabolism and the removal of fats and cholesterol from the liver. It contains ingredients such as turmeric, milk thistle, alpha-lipoic acid, broccoli concentrate, each of which have been shown in studies, even before we formulated this product, to naturally protect the processes of the liver. And one of the big ways they do that is by targeting a specific cell signaling pathway that helps our liver produce enzymes such as glutathione S-transferase. Glutathione is a really important molecule in our body. It helps protect all aspects of our body that might be susceptible to free radicals or oxidation. And it attaches to and carries toxins outside of the body. This enzyme is particularly concentrated in the liver, and it's specifically important in phase 2 liver enzyme systems. I mentioned that earlier. We've got phase 1 and phase 2. Well, to use alcohol as an example, alcohol is toxic to our bodies, and the only way the body knows how to get rid of alcohol and remove it is in phase 1, it turns alcohol into something different. Problem with that is that actually the secondary compound from phase 1 is also toxic. And that phase 2 is what neutralizes the toxin finally. It's a toxin it can recognize. Instead of alcohol it has a harder time dealing with, it changes it into something the body can recognize and neutralize it at a quicker pace. And so that is what phase 2 detoxification does, is really ultimately eliminate those potential toxins. And that is the primary goal of all the ingredients we've included in here, is to support glutathione within the body, and glutathione serves as an antioxidant in that phase 2 detoxification. Unfortunately, glutathione, if you take it in foods or you have glutathione in supplements, it's really inefficiently absorbed. You can't eat glutathione and expect to get the benefits of it. However, these different nutrients we have inside of Hepasil DTX have been shown to support the production of glutathione within the body. And so what we did when we were first designing and looking at this product back in, like I said, about 2008, is we performed a clinical study where we included these different ingredients in the clinical study. We didn't actually supplement individuals with glutathione, and we didn't supplement them with vitamin C. Vitamin C is one of the other molecules that plays an important role in liver health and liver support. And what we found is, despite not giving individuals vitamin C or glutathione, these nutrients actually increased both of those compounds within the body. They increased the storage and utilization of vitamin C and the production of glutathione within the body. In addition to that, we were measuring things like superoxide dismutase is another molecule that we found these help support. And all of these help maintain healthy levels of these antioxidants within the body. I'm going to go through each of these nutrients one by one and talk about how they individually support the liver in context of this entire formula that we've studied and had clinical studies on. So choline is a vitamin-like substance used by the body to mobilize many steps of the metabolic processes of the liver. And it's most important in help creating phosphatidylcholine, which is a type of lipid, and betaine, an amino acid, which are both vital for helping remove fats and cholesterol outside of the liver. Your body can actually make some choline, but it needs a steady supply from your diet as well. You won't be able to make enough on your own. And unfortunately, many people don't get enough foods that have choline on their own. So supplementing additional choline could be an important step in regulating the choline levels within your body. And it's specifically important in people who are interested in endurance sports like running, or if you're playing long bouts of sports like basketball or football where you're playing for a few hours. Choline is especially important in those, because strenuous activity has been shown to reduce choline levels in the blood by about 40%. And even if you're not a professional athlete or wanting to be one, choline is important for every single one of us to make sure that you have it at sufficient levels. Milk thistle is probably, if I were to pinpoint one ingredient most important to this, and really Hepasil DTX, all of the ingredients work together, but if I were to pinpoint one, it would be milk thistle is the single most important ingredient in this product. The plant is called Silybum marianum, or silymarin is one of the compounds outside within it. And it's really been overall shown to support liver function and liver health. Milk thistle is one of the most frequently used herbal extracts for maintaining liver health and function. Research has shown that concentrated amounts of this ingredient, silymarin, have been able to help support cell signaling pathways within the liver and overall support liver enzymes such as the glutathione that I was talking about earlier and superoxide dismutase. It also helps upregulate a number of other compounds related to phase 2 detoxification, all of which are important antioxidants within the liver and within the body overall. Next, we're going to look at alpha lipoic acid. So alpha lipoic acid is another one like choline that you'll find some produced naturally within the body, but typically not enough on its own. So alpha lipoic acid also helps our body make glutathione. And then as well as making glutathione, it helps support the activity of other antioxidant-like molecules. It helps support vitamin C and vitamin E and coenzyme Q10, which are important in liver health, cardiovascular health, skin health, really just, eye health, overall health throughout the entire body. Alpha lipoic acid plays lots and lots of different roles within the body to make sure that we're overall healthy. So L-cysteine is a really small protein as far as proteins go. However, it packs a really important and powerful role inside the body. As I've mentioned with these previous others, it helps the body make glutathione. Now you might be thinking, because I've mentioned this with the last three ingredients, helps make glutathione, helps make glutathione, helps make glutathione. It's not as common as it sounds. There's actually only a few things that we consume that play a really important role in making glutathione. However, that's why we picked them for this formula, is each of these are very strong, both upregulators, producers. They each play a strong role in the production of glutathione, and that's why we measured it in our study that we did 10 years ago as well, is because glutathione is especially important in liver health and overall body health. We've also included broccoli. So broccoli is an adaptogen, and adaptogens are plant compounds that help the body resist stressors of all kinds, whether it's physical, chemical, biological. So a lot of these compounds I've been talking about could be considered adaptogens, but broccoli has a few compounds specifically in there known to be adaptogens. So the broccoli concentrate that we include in Hepasil DTX is a very specific concentrate. There's lots of them available on the marketplace when we're looking at raw ingredients. But we work with a supplier of broccoli concentrate that has specifically high levels of some of the compounds that we're looking at, like glucophorinin and sulforaphane, that have been known to support cell signaling pathways tied to antioxidant support and overall liver health. We also include green tea extract. Like the broccoli concentrate, there's lots of different variations of green tea extract. There's some that are much more useful and much more beneficial than others. But the green tea extract we include in Hepasil DTX contains 90% polyphenols. And so when we're sent a raw ingredient, we'll receive a big palette of raw ingredients. And what we do is we'll actually take a sample of that and we test it to make sure that it meets our standards and that it's at the quality we want, as well as it doesn't contain any potential harmful contaminants like yeast, mold, E. coli, different bacteria that are harmful, heavy metals. We also test to make sure it has the essential components in there and it's beneficial to us. In the case of green tea extract, one of the most studied antioxidant compounds in green tea is called EGCG, or epigallocatechin 3 gallate. And this compound has been shown to regulate some of those cell signaling pathways that are so beneficial to the liver. Next is we have a specific olive fruit extract that we call olivol. USANA scientists developed olivol to deliver a potent antioxidant, specifically beneficial and found in olives and a little bit in olive oil. And like some of these others, it's a very potent antioxidant, has been shown to defend against oxidative damage. This particular one has been shown to help prevent the oxidation of LDL cholesterol, or low-density lipoproteins. So Mariva, another compound in there, is a type of turmeric extract. Turmeric is the yellow root that's often found in Indian foods very frequently. You can get a good source of it from there, but this Mariva compound that we have is more bioavailable. And by bioavailable, I mean you receive more of it in your body, both higher dosages, better absorbed than typical curcumin or turmeric root products. We actually developed this with a group of Italian researchers. Because it's so typically poorly absorbed, turmeric has a lot of great health benefits, specifically related to antioxidant benefits, but it's just not well absorbed. So we developed it with a group of Italian researchers, and we have published studies on it that have shown we've been able to change the form of it. What we did is we wrapped it in a lipid layer, and we increased the absorption by about 36 times better absorption than the typical turmeric or curcumin extract. And the studies on this product have been shown that curcumin has many different benefits for health. I mentioned antioxidant activity. It also plays important roles in immune response and healthy inflammation. It's also been shown to support and help key detoxification systems within our body, which is what brings us to liver support. And so that's why we include this curcumin complex that we call Mariva. And then the last one we'll look at is biotin. So biotin is an essential water-soluble B vitamin known as B7. Your liver uses biotin to form a number of different metabolic enzymes. These are substances that cause chemical reactions to break down and change macronutrients like carbohydrates and protein into compounds that our body can use. And biotin-dependent enzymes don't just break down nutrients, they also help your liver make substances your body needs for energy, like fatty acids and glycogen. It can be synthesized in your body by bacteria, yeast, molds. There's a number of different ways you receive biotin. However, supplementation can be an important way, if you're not getting it from your diet alone, to receive enough biotin in your daily life. And with that, that's the overall Hepasil formula. I see we have a number of different questions in there, so if you have any questions now, feel free to ask them, whether it's related to Hepasil, liver health, or we'll look at some other USANA products if we have time as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Austin. That was a very informative training, and we learned about Hepasil DTX and about the liver. There's a lot of information to process and digest, but still it was very helpful. So for those who have any questions about the product, about health, so you can type it in our chat box and you can type it in our comment box via Facebook Live. So I would like to remind everybody, our associates and Yasana, and those who are all watching our Your Health and Yasana training. So please refrain from asking questions relating to diseases or medical conditions, as our products are not intended to cure, treat, or mitigate any diseases. So if you have specific questions about your medical conditions, or you have specific question about relating our products to certain medical conditions, you can always seek advice from your healthcare provider or your physician. All right. So, Austin, I've been seeing questions from our chat box. Let me read it for you so we can answer the queries of our associates. So, first question here is Hepasil DTX good for the kidney also?
So I've talked so much about antioxidant compounds within the Hepasil product. It certainly plays some role in kidney health, but that's not its primary purpose. So it's not bad for the kidneys, but if you're concerned about kidney health, it's probably not the right product to be taking.
Yes. Because Hepasil DTX is more likely to provide benefits for your liver, not for your kidneys specifically. So another question here is, what is the best time of the day to take Hepasil DTX?
That's a good question. So USANA has a whole variety of products. We have the Cell Essentials. We have a lot of different optimizers. And in the case of the Cell Essentials, I'll start there because it kind of makes sense starting there. The Cell Essentials have certain water-soluble vitamins in them, like the vitamin C, the B vitamins, that only stay in the blood for a couple hours, 1 to several hours at a time. But they're not going to stay in there for days at a time. And so that's why we recommend that you take the Cell Essentials twice a day, is that it can keep those water-soluble vitamins in the blood for a longer period of time throughout the day. However, these plant compounds and the glutathione levels they promote are a little bit, they don't last forever, but they're a little bit less susceptible to the breakdown of the body and short time periods like some of those water-soluble vitamins. So I would just take the full Hepasil dose once a day, and you can take it any time of the day you want.
Right, so it's better to spread it out all throughout the day to maintain a normal level of the nutrients in your blood coming from Hepasil DTX. So another question here is, can we take Hepasil DTX with an empty stomach?
I would recommend, once again, like all Busana supplements, so some of the compounds within these products need a little bit of digestive enzymes. I've mentioned how the liver produces these digestive enzymes, and our body has others within it. However, it takes some food to initially activate those. A simple, small little tablet's not going to turn on production of those or turn those on. But if you eat it with a meal, it'll turn on and upregulate some of these digestive enzymes we have and absorption of certain nutrients. So I would take Hepasil with a meal for better absorption. And also the secondary benefit is when you take tablets on an empty stomach, it can cause a little bit of an upset stomach or a little bit of gastric reflux, and it'll help avoid that as well. So you won't have upset stomach, and it'll absorb better if you take it with a meal.
Yes, and in addition to that, when you take your supplements after a meal, you are creating a habit of taking it regularly, because it will automatically come into your senses that, oh, it's time to take my supplements because it's right after a meal. So you're creating a habit. You are creating a buffer for your stomach, especially for those who are very sensitive. And as Austin mentioned, you are preparing for the activation of some of the ingredients coming from our supplements. And most of our supplements here in the Philippines, in Yosana, so they are recommended to be taken with a meal. All right, so I hope we were able to answer that for you. And Austin, this is a very good question, no? Because a lot of our there are people who are not really who took up biological or science courses, so they would like to know, can you explain more about cell signaling pathways in a more layman's term?
That's a great question. The reason I limit it to just cell signaling pathways is because there are so many of them. So kind of an introduction to cell signaling pathways is, like I was talking about our study earlier, we have all these different compounds that we've included in Hepasil. And the goal of these compounds, it's not to increase broccoli concentrate extract in the blood or increase silymarin extract in the blood. It's to increase glutathione and these other compounds in the blood. And what the body does is, when you include that broccoli or the silymarin or the alpha-lipoic acid, when those raise in the blood, they trigger a whole cascade and several different steps that happen within the body. And it's those steps that I'm talking about when I mentioned cell signaling that increase the glutathione. And there's lots of these happening at all times within the body. And cell signaling is really just kind of a brief summary to talk about a whole category of reactions that are occurring that are very, very complex. I mentioned it wasn't actually cell signaling, but I had a slide early on. Let's see, let me go all the way back to kind of summarize
so
that
for the
better.
information of everybody, glutathione is a very important antioxidant in our body. That's why we really need our liver to produce it. And some of our ingredients in Hepasil DTX are very important in the production of our glutathione. Okay, go ahead, Austin.
Well, here's kind of an example. This isn't what we're talking about with the glutathione cell signaling, but here's an example of one of these metabolic pathways within the body. And this is how lots of these, quote, cell signaling pathways are, is there's, 3, 4, 5, a dozen plus different steps within the body. And that's what we mean by cell signaling, is a single item enters and we try to provide some of that single item. Silymarin is that big one, or the milk thistle extract that I'm talking about, that through a whole cascade of systems can turn on glutathione production within the body. The cell essentials also have some cell signaling molecules that help upregulate apoptosis within the cells, basically turnover of the cells and turnover of mitochondria. They can promote overall individual cell health. And so when you hear USANA talk about cell signaling, there's a lot of different aspects of cell signaling we're talking about, but it's overall we're targeting reactions that the body's already doing, and we're trying to turn them on for your health and your benefit.
All right, so thank you so much for explaining that to us, Austin. When I saw these slides of yours, helps metabolize nutrients and all of this, the citric acid cycle, the urea cycle, electron transport chain, it's like I'm coming back to my college days. So I'm studying chemistry again, it's biology again. So it's a lot of information to digest, but to simply term it, it's just a couple of processes happening inside our body to promote health and of course to provide benefits to our body. That's simply put our explanation of the cellular communication pathways, and it's like a domino. When you start this, it's a cascade of it's a series of these processes wherein it will happen all at once and it will provide you with positive effects for your health. All right, so that's how you explain it to your prospects. That's how you explain it in layman's terms. Thank you very much, Austin, for clarifying that to us. So we have here a question: where do we position Hepasil on our recommendations to clients, or to whom do we recommend? So let me answer this question for you. So you can actually promote Hepasil DTX for persons whose primary they would want to prioritize. They would want to prioritize their liver health. They would want to prioritize about their detox, their metabolism. So you can suggest Hepasil DTX to them. So they would want to maintain a healthy, they would want to maintain a healthy detoxification. So you can suggest Hepasil DTX to them. So let's see if we have any other questions here in our chat box. All right, so we have here, so there, thank you for this training, Austin. So what is the minimum dosage to take Hepasil? So this is coming from Cleo. So for the Philippines, as Austin mentioned at the start of their training, so they have different formulations or different recommended dosage for different markets of USANA. And in the Philippines, we recommend you take Hepasil DTX at least 3 times a day. So that's our recommended dosage here in the Philippines. So let's see. Okay, let's see here if they still have. Okay, so how many tablets are you allowed to take each day? So as I have mentioned, at least 3 tablets a day. So we'll see what other questions do we have here. Oh, all right, Austin, this one is a good question to inform our associates about the usage of Hepasil DTX for pregnant and lactating moms. Would you recommend Hepasil DTX for this group of people, pregnant and lactating moms?
No, I wouldn't. So when we're looking at pregnant women or lactating women, the reality is there's only so many different products. When we're looking at safety on these different ingredients, when we're looking at benefits of these different ingredients, we're looking at both existing clinical studies from universities, different governments all around the world, and there just hasn't been, nobody does studies on pregnant women. People don't do a lot of studies in children either. And so I can't say that it's necessarily harmful, but we have no evidence to show that it's safe either. So we can't safely recommend it for pregnant women or for children. It's really for non-pregnant, non-lactating adults over 18 years old is who this product is designed for. And that's where we have all our safety data, and our beneficial data is in that group as well. We don't know if it would be safe or beneficial to other groups.
Right, and for the information of everybody, we actually have an article in AskTheScientist.com wherein when you search usage of the products during pregnancy and lactation, it will show all the products that can be used by pregnant women. It can be used by lactating moms. So you can always check out AskTheScientist.com if you have any questions. And again, if you can't find answers there, you can always ask a question. That's why it's called AskTheScientist.com. And you can also send us your emails about your health and about the products of USANA. And another question here is a very good question. Can you take Hepasil by itself without cell essentials?
So you can take it by itself without the cell essentials. For me, though, I would always recommend Cell Essentials first. Beyond anything else, today's focus was on liver health, but beyond the liver, we have skin health and cardiovascular health and eye health and lung health. And for overall health of your body, the Cell Essentials is really the number one thing you should be taking. We talk so much about glutathione and antioxidant capacity, but the data shows that your friend, me, everybody the reality is we don't do a very good job at eating all the vitamins and minerals we need on a daily basis. And the Cell Essentials are really your number one foundational product for making sure that you receive the daily vitamins you need, the daily essential minerals that you need. So yes, you can take Hepasil on its own, but I would work on the Cell Essentials very first and foremost for your overall health.
All right, so there you go. You can actually take it, but you can actually take it all by itself, Hepasil DTX, but it's better if you take it with Cell Essentials. All right, so we have a question here. Why is Hepasil, I think the question is, why does Hepasil contain the no approved therapeutic claims on its label? So let me answer this one for you again. So it's all because of the regulations here in the Philippines. We follow the rules and regulations imposed by our Food and Drug Administration. As for food supplements, we have to put in the label, we have to put on the label no approved therapeutic claims. So that's all. That's why we have no approved therapeutic claims for our products that are classified as food supplements. For example, Hepasil DTX, we also have Biomega, Coconut 30, we also have Procosa, and a lot more. So that's the explanation to that. Right, so I hope you're still with us with our training. So we have 425 participants via Zoom, and we have 145 viewers via Facebook Live. So I've been seeing a lot of questions here about diseases, about medical conditions. So can you recommend this for that? What would be the dosage for this type of medical condition? So again, I would like to remind all of you that our products are not intended to cure, treat, or mitigate any diseases. They're intended to support and maintain your health. So if you have any underlying conditions, or if you have any other questions about your medications, and you would want to know more about it, so you can check out, or you can ask your healthcare provider. They would be the best persons to answer your inquiries about them. So let's see from our Facebook Live if they have any questions, because I've been reading questions here from our Zoom call. So let's see if they have any questions here from our Facebook Live. So I'm seeing here a lot of people tagging other people for them to be able to really watch our training this morning. So I have a question here. Even if I am taking Cell Essentials already, still I need to take 3 times of Hepasil a day. Yes, that would be okay if you take your Cell Essentials and you take Hepasil DTX 3 times a day. So alright, so I'm seeing other people tagging other people here in our comment box. So there are very few to none questions in our comment box via Facebook Live, and we have here. Okay, so we have here questions coming from our associates on our Zoom call. So it's all about our diseases, medical conditions. So again, we cannot answer that in this call, and we cannot answer that in this training. The best person to answer your queries about medical conditions and about your medications would be your healthcare providers. All right, so okay, let me see if we still have any other questions here. Okay. So, what products are best for the kidney? So, I guess we can go for Cell Essentials for our kidneys, because our Cell Essentials are for your overall body health and includes your kidneys health. All right. So, okay. So, I guess we have here. I guess we're all set with our questions. Our associates are all set, and we do not have any questions coming from our Facebook Live. So, from our comment box. So, Austin, before we end our training this morning, so do you have any last few words for our participants?
So if you have any specific questions, we've talked about Ask the Scientist a few times. We have a page about Hepasil. We have a page about liver enzyme systems. We have a number of different pages about Hepasil. including information about the research studies that we've done on this product. So if you have any questions, go there first. You'll find most of the different things that have been asked available on there, including everything I've talked about today, is all available on there. And I just want to thank you for your time.
All right, thank you so much, Austin, and thank you so much for sharing this lots of information to us, for us to be able to present the products, for us to be able to understand the products of Yasana more, especially Hepasil DTX. So I would like to assure everybody that the products of Yasana are generally safe and effective, each and every one of you, as long as you take the recommended dosage and you have no underlying medical conditions or not taking any medication. So again, stay safe, stay healthy, and take care of your liver. I am Marielle Perillo, one of your corporate pharmacists from Yasana Philippines. So this is Your Health and Yasana, featuring our manager for AskTheScientist.com, Austin Vinegar. So thank you very much, everyone. Stay safe and stay healthy. Have a great day. Bye!